This past weekend was my bride Katie's wedding, so let me show you how we got her all glammed up. To hydrate her skin, I went in with the Youth to the People Superfood Skin Drip, working that all over her face. And then in the areas that she had larger pores, I went in with some of the NYX Pore Filler. Then to prep her eyelids for eyeshadow, I used the e.l.f. Putty Eye Brightener and set that with some translucent powder. For her eyes today, we're actually using my eyeshadow palette in collaboration with Sydney Grace, and I'm taking a domed eyeshadow brush into the shade Forever and Always and working that into her crease, making sure to kind of focus it more on the outer corner. Taking the same brush in the same shade, I'm just focusing that by packing it into the outer corner just to make sure that it's a little bit more intense in that area. Then taking the shade Kenai Kisses, which is like a bone white shade, and kind of almost creating a cut crease look, and then tapping on top of that with a little bit of the High Bride shade, which is a little bit of more of a shimmery shade, and I'm just popping that on with my finger here. Taking a break from the eyes, we will come back. I'm going in with some of the NARS Longwear Radiant Foundation, and I'm just pressing that into her skin. We're going for more of a full coverage look here. Then taking that same e.l.f. Putty Eye Brightener underneath her eyes to correct and conceal. I really like this product. It's affordable, it hydrates, it corrects, it brightens, it conceals, and I just think that it looks beautiful under anybody's under eye, even mature skin. Tapping out a little bit of concealer that I put up above her eyebrows, and then doing a little bit of bronzing and defining with some of the Charlotte Tilbury Cream Bronzer. Just making sure to blend that all the way back into the hairline on both the cheekbones and on her temples and forehead so that there's no like stark line of demarcation. Then to set her under eyes, first I'm going to tap out any little creases that may have formed, and I'm going in with a powder puff and some of the Huda Beauty Peach Powder. This is very brightening and very smoothing. I'm not necessarily baking with this, but I am using a little bit more powder than what would be on just like a powder brush, just to kind of like melt everything together, blur the area, as well as just like really brighten. I also like to take this right underneath the cheekbones to kind of pop them a little bit, and then whatever is left, I just kind of go and blend those edges with the sponge, as well as bringing it on the sides of the nose just to really kind of pop any little bit of contouring. Then going on top of where I put the cream bronzer with some powder bronzer from Charlotte Tilbury as well. Then for blush, I'm taking a mixture of different Viseart blushes, and I'm kind of bringing this a little bit higher on her as well. And I like to kind of place, and then I blend the edges with my foundation brush just to make sure everything is nice and blended and there's no stark lines or anything like that. I wanted her cheekbones to pop just a smidgen more, so I took a little bit of kimchi powder and went under where we did her bronzing, and then I'm just brushing away the excess. Highlighting with some of the Dior powder highlighter. It's the pink and white shades mixed together right on her cheekbones, above the arch of her brow, and then a little bit on her nose. Taking some of that Forever and Always shade and just smudging that right underneath her lower lash line for some definition. Filling in her eyebrows very naturally with some of the Sydney Grace brow powder. She doesn't like a strong brow. For her lips, we went in with the Legendary Queen shade from Charlotte Tilbury, and then I'm putting on some lower lash mascara, waterproof mascara, since she's already got beautiful eyelash extensions. Then I gave her a mirror to check her look, see what she thinks, asked her if she wanted to change anything. I always have them look at themselves before I set with any setting spray because I want to make sure that it's perfect. Did some setting spray, and that is the final look. Once she got in her dress, I did add a little body glow, but I missed that clip. But otherwise, this is her before and after, and I think she looks beautiful.